we're full strength. Everyone's fit for tomorrow night. So yeah, I've got a full squad to pick from. Yeah, and that's it really. So now down to me to work out the best dynamics to obviously try and win the football match tomorrow. But in terms of injuries and where the squad is, everyone's fit. Everyone's trained over the last few days. So yeah, we're all good.
And Alexander would be in a position whereby if you wanted to start him, then he would be able to start the game.
Yeah, he's fit. So yeah, we'll make our decision on that really.
How are you feeling about tomorrow night's game? It's going to be a strange feeling. It will be a proud moment for you, I guess, leading Fulham out at Wembley, a club you've played for, a club you're now managing, but not having the fans alongside you.
Yeah, look, I think we're extremely excited about tomorrow night's game. I'm certainly excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm very, very proud as well. Obviously, I spent a long time here as a player. I've seen the club. Certainly, I've been here since I've been here. There's been a lot of downs and probably more. There have been good. So in terms of that, I'm very proud to lead the team, which has been a long, hard, full season this year to get to where we have, to take it to the final game for my team really. And then the second question, of course, there is one disappointing factor is that the fans cannot share this moment with us and their support and be behind the team. And it's been like that. So even more so now when you get to Wembley and you get to a final, if there's one thing the fans deserve and you want them to support is at these moments. So disappointed for them, but that's the current world we're living in really, and the dynamics and the platforms that are out there in terms of social media and stuff like that to the players and at their disposal. They see and feel that support coming from the fans. So yeah, that's much needed.
And 2 years ago, a lot of this Fulham side went to Wembley and they won that playoff final against Aston Villa. I just wonder how much you can use that to your advantage, the fact that your players have been to Wembley recently and they have been successful there.
Yeah, of course we can. We take good heart and we take confidence from that. Experiences, past experience in life, past experience in arenas or events. As a sportsman, certainly it can only be beneficial. And you're right in saying we've got a group here and a squad here that have walked it before and have experienced this before. I see that only as a positive, and I see that can only be helpful. In saying that, at the same time, there's going to be more to this game and the football match and the dynamics of it than just having a little bit of experience. But certainly that experience will be helpful.
One of the Brentford players said that Fulham will be fearing Brentford because you lost twice to them so far this season in the league. Is that fair? And do you think that experience and the fact Brentford have won 2 games against you this season counts for anything when it comes to something as big as a playoff final?
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe that at all, really. And like you say, you're in a playoff final, and the dynamics of a playoff final, the dynamics of the stadium, Wembley, what's at stake. I think everything gets eradicated from previous. That's exactly how I see it. There's a lot more tomorrow, what this game brings, than past experiences, meaning previous performances. So, of course, we realise the challenge ahead of us. And that challenge is we're playing against a very good team, a team that were on the same amount of points as us this season, and we were divided by goal difference, and they had more. But they're a good side. We understand that, but at the same time, fully believe in what we're doing. I fully believe in my squad. I fully believe in the occasion and where we're going to have to go and where we're going to have to in terms of the game and where we're going to have to dig and go to get a result. I firmly believe my players can do that. So yeah, that's exactly how I see the dynamics of this football match panning out. The team what are going to deal with them situations, deal with the whole experience, of course, is going to be probably better equipped. And then ultimately, like anything, you need to turn up on the day and produce some football and produce what you can produce. I believe my team can do that. We've showed throughout this season we can do that. We've shown that when we've needed to get results, we've been able to do that. So respect totally what Brentford have done this year. They've been fantastic. But so have we.
And just finally from me, Scott, we know that if Fulham win the game, there's a potential rise in additional revenue of £135 million. So I wonder, when it comes to building the players up for this game, do you try and build up the occasion even more and know what's at stake, or do you try and get rid of any of the hidden distractions and try and make the players just focus on the game and not worry about what could happen if you were to be successful?
Yeah, listen to me. This game has been our focus throughout the whole of this year. This is not just a game all of a sudden was just springed up on us. Our aim was to get promoted. We realised that we can get promoted in this division via the top two. If not, then we'll go via Wembley if we can. So in terms of that, we always knew that goal and that journey and where that journey was going to bring us, and we was very clear and had a laser focus about us. And then regarding all the other stuff's are what ifs, and in terms of the money behind the game and what the game brings and stuff like that, it's something which we can't control. What we can control is how we go out there tomorrow night and perform. We go about our business in a professional way. We go about our way and really put a stamp on the game. And you give yourself an opportunity to win the match and to win the game. That's what we'll be doing.
Thanks, Scott. All the best.
Yes, James. Thank you.
Thanks, James. If you wouldn't mind going on mute, can we have questions? Jessica Crichton, please, Sky Sports News.
Hello, Scott. You okay?
Hi, Jessica. All good.
Good. I'd like to find out more about how you're dealing with the big sensitive occasion. How do you deal with the pressure of such a big match? Are you superstitious? Do you get excited? Do you get nervous? How do you go about it?
Yeah, I'm excited, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's an excitement about me. Looking forward to the game. I'm very proud. Of course, I've been at the football club now for a long time as a player, and now just obviously my full season to lead the club and the team to this point. Yeah, obviously very proud, but ultimately it's how I look at it is very single-minded and very, very focused on what's ahead of us. And tomorrow night's another football match. My experiences have told me and taught me that all the noise and everything else what comes with games and big games, I want to use exactly that, is noise, and a real laser focus about us to understand what the job is in hand and what we need to do. And I feel that we're in a good place to do that. There has been a laser focus about us for some time now. And the journey which was spelled out to this team and these players have been spelled out from day one to this point now, or via automatic. So a big game tomorrow, and one I'm relishing and I'm looking forward to.
You've obviously had big game experiences as a player, like you said. How does it compare when you go into a big game like this as a manager? Does it feel different?
Not really. No, not really. The build up, what you're going into is everything you want, really. You know, these are the games and these are the moments that you want to be involved in and you want to be around, and you want to perform. You have an opportunity to perform and show on a big stage, and obviously the rewards to that is great as well. So, of course, at this present moment in time, I'm not the one was going to be stepping out there tomorrow, and that's where I was before. But I'll stand on that side and look at a group of players and a team of players that over this season have grown, have developed, and have earned the right to be at Wembley tomorrow. And like I say, hopefully we can put in a performance that we can get a result as well.
Obviously, I understand football is a team sport, but for you on an individual basis, Scott, have you allowed yourself to think about what this means to you at a personal level?
No, not really. I think it's like anything when you're in this job. Things seem to fly past at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's probably not until when it's all said and done and it all finishes and the dust settles a little bit, maybe you can reflect and you look back on what you've achieved, what we've done as a group and as a club, and the negatives and of course the positives. But when you're in it, it's a whirlwind really. and you lose sight. And we live in a world where it's so quick and you lose sight. So I have just one focus. I've had one focus all year, and the team have had one focus, and that focus has been a bright, dying ambition to try and get into the Premier League, and that's been our one aim, and that's been my aim as well, really. So that we've got an opportunity tomorrow night to accomplish that, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Just finally, Scott, I wasn't sure if you've already answered a question on Mitrovic and his fitness ahead of the game.
Yeah, Mitrovic is fit. We've got a full fit squad to pick from for tomorrow night. So yeah, we're in sense of that, my position, that's where we are.
Brilliant, dreamy. Good luck, Scott.
Jessica, thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. If you could please go on mute. We'll stay on broadcast. Few extra questions. BBC London, is it Emma on the call?
Yes, hello, hi.
Hi, Emma.
Hello, Scott. Great news that everybody's fit. It's a nice headache to have, isn't it? To have everybody available, but it's going to be difficult to tell some of those players they're not starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, a headache, but a headache you want as a manager. Obviously, a fully fit squad to have the luxury to pick from. And yeah, I mean, look, I'd rather these headaches and the problems than having the opposite. So yeah, pleased that obviously we've got a squad ready to pick from, and yeah, we'll do that.
It's going to be weird that Wembley is empty, but are the team kind of going to? Will they be able to just ignore that fact once the whistle goes? Do you think, for the game to get underway?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, look, we've experienced this now for 2.5 months. I think it is. So empty stadiums and what that brings. Of course, the stadium is a lot more vast and a lot more bigger than what we've been, but the players have become accustomed to the current environments that they're playing in. So I don't really see any difference there, really. So strange, of course, but I think the experiences what we've had over the last 8 or 9, 10 games will put us in good stead to know what we're going into.
What's your team talk usually like, and is it going to change tomorrow night? Varies on the circumstances and where I feel that we need to hit in terms of a mindset, really. I mean, look, tomorrow night's a big game for us. Team talk often is about us and what we do and how we stamp our authority on the game, how we go about our business, what we need to do to do that, really, and stuff like that. Really, I don't think that's going to change. That's always been the message. As a football team, as a football club, we want to do things our way. We want to stamp things into a football match, outside the football match, the bigger picture as well. So I don't think that's going to change tomorrow, albeit that the occasion is a lot bigger. You have to bring certain things to a football match, and we'll have to bring that tomorrow night. As a player at Fulham and now as the manager, you will be more than aware of the rivalry with Brentford. It'll make it all the more special, won't it, to beat them tomorrow night?
Yeah, it would. And it's amazing to think that we get to the 48, 49 games of the season and it comes down to a West London derby, really. So, yeah, it probably adds a little bit more to it, even as bigger the game is. Obviously, a London derby now as well. So, two teams what have done fantastically well this year, separated by goal difference in the league. So yeah, it's hopefully it'll be a very good game.
And finally, from me, you mentioned that goal difference. It's pretty extraordinary for Brentford, isn't it? They do like to score goals. So I'm assuming you've been working quite hard with your defence and your goalkeeper over the last few days. Yeah,
I mean, look, they've going forward, they're a real threat. We've seen that in the three players in the front scored a lot of goals. So yeah, of course we understand that. I think I said many times before, we concentrate on ourselves, how we can hurt and how we can try and punish Brentford or their flaws. And we're playing against an extremely very good organised team who have done extremely well this year, and there's going to be challenges, of course there are. But I also suspect that Brentford will have some challenges as well come tomorrow night, and hopefully that them challenges will be more great than the ones they cause us. And if that's the case, then hopefully it'll be a good night. So yeah, that's what we'll do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma. We're going to check if there are any more broadcast questions. Natalie, ESPN, do you have a question for Scott?
Yes, I do. Hi, Scott. You mentioned a few times the journey that Fulham went through this season. What did the team take from the relegation to this moment, this whole season? What were the main changes on the pitch and in the mentality as well, you think?
I think there's been a massive change, and I realised that when we first come in. I remember we got relegated at Watford away, in the dressing room. I remember the fans, and I remember the whole football club was very disjointed and wasn't really together. Realised that this year was going to be a massive challenge for us, and the biggest challenge was obviously trying to implement the philosophy and trying to install a real identity on us on the pitch. But the bigger challenge was always for me was going to come off it. And you often find that when teams get relegated, them challenges are there, and they're really big wounds, what are gaping open really, because a team which is shot to pieces at times and used to losing football matches, and we was no different to any other club what have been relegated, won 7 games last year, I think 81 goals conceded, and we was in a bit of a low spell really. And I not just include the team, I include the whole football club in that. And certainly there was a job to be done, because I realised how important that is. You want to create a culture and you want to set an environment that is a winning mentality and a winning culture. You need certain ingredient. And over the course of this season, it's been a rocky road, and of course you see that because you can't just have a magic wand or a flick of a finger what's going to all of a sudden you go from this real weak mentality or a real disbelief or a real disconnection to all of a sudden within the space of 2 months you've got a team which are fighting whatever division you're in to win it. You can have the best team on paper you want, and you can have that, but ultimately at times you see that the teams what are the successful ones are the ones what can go about their business with a real way about them. So certainly I sit in a position now where I do see a massive improvement to where we were. I see a squad that has shown big resilience along the way, had our blips, shown the vulnerability about us, but also I see the team progressing, and I see a real resilient team, which is going to be needed. Loads of work to be done still, loads of work and loads of improvements to be made. But I see a real, at this present moment in time, I see a real team about us, which is certainly going in the right direction. And that's what makes me most proud. That's what makes me most pleased, because I realise how important it is. I know how important it is to winning games. I know how important it is to being successful. And I don't mean just success in winning 3 games or just winning the odd cup. I mean longevity success. You need to build something on concrete foundations. You build something on concrete foundations, you can keep building, and you keep building blocks till you get to where you need to get to, and it just becomes second nature. And that's what we need to keep doing.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. That concludes the broadcast section of the press conference. We'll move on straight on to written press. Could you raise your hand if you have a question, please? Okay, thanks. Ryan Daly, please, from the EFL.
Hi, Scott. Just a quick one, talking about yourself personally. This will be a magnificent moment for yourself and your team out at Wembley. What's it like for you to go and do that? Obviously, you talked about it in 2012, leading your team out as the captain of the national side. What's it like for you now as a manager?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm extremely proud. Of course, I'm proud of the team, and I'm proud of my team and my staff and what we've gone through at times this year, and the journey which we've had to take. And I'm very proud of every single one of them, because I see a real improvement. I see people growing, and that makes me very proud, because to get to where we've got to at this moment in time takes some doing. You have to win a lot of football matches to get to where we are, and we've managed to do that. So yeah, I think tomorrow evening is going to be a proud moment for me, but also, like when you mentioned in 2012, as proud as it is, you have a job to do, and there's something what you need to do, and that's another 90 minutes. What you want to try and win the game, you want to try and perform as an athlete, well, back then, now as a manager, and get my team to be able to perform, to get a result. And then so that's the main focus really.
Does it help for you as well as the manager of this football team to have individuals that have played in this kind of game before?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. Look, it's not going to be a hindrance. Experiences, past experience in life, experience in the arena, experience in games, and the magnitude of the game. You've been in there. If you've been in there and done it and seen it and understand it and have smelt it, then of course that's going to help. And you're right. We have players in this football team that have done that and have been around it, and I can only see that as being a great help for us. And hopefully that will be an advantage for us tomorrow night. And saying that, there's also a bigger picture and another side where you know what you have to do and how you have to turn up, and hopefully we'll do that as well.
And just a final question from me. Obviously, we touched on your playing days as well. You've played in the Championship as well as managing it. How impressive of a division is the Championship?
Sorry, Ryan, did you say how impressive is the Championship as a league?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's a fantastic league. It's got to be one of the most entertaining leagues, and I think we will talk about the Premier League and the quality that brings, and of course the entertainment that brings. But in terms of a relentlessness and how close it is, that last game of the season only a few weeks ago, the dynamics of how the division is, and every team on their day, it goes to the last day on both ends of the table, and what it brings is entertaining. I think we all realise that, and I personally see it as it's a top league with some big teams, established teams, what have been in and around Premier Leagues for a long time, and now in this division and trying to get out of it as well. So, and it's got its quality as well.
Thank you. Best luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Ryan. We have a few hands raised here from the written press. Can we start with Miguel Delaney of The Independent, please?
Hi, Scott. Just in the build-up to this game, it almost feels like Brentford have become almost more of the story because of the fact they've never been in the Premier League before. I suppose they're a smaller club, which in itself must be maybe a slightly unusual situation for Fulham to be the kind of bigger club in this situation. And does the rest of it work to your advantage, do you think, that you're kind of not so much under the radar, but maybe everyone's looking to Brentford a little bit at the moment?
Yeah, maybe. And I think the reason, obviously, people are looking at Brentford, they've had two massive opportunities in their hands, obviously, have not been at this point in the season, really. So, obviously, and rightly so, because they've been fantastic this year. And now, like you say, how well they've done and leading into Wembley, they obviously took that mantle as well, really. So, I mean, look, from my side, the quality I have within what we've done this year has been nothing short of fantastic. And my players know that, and we know that. We know the quality we have and what we possess, and the way we play, and the problems we can cause any team on our day, really. So we understand that. So yeah, I mean, Brentford are being spoke about because they've gone about their work this year, and probably because they've had some big opportunities to have seen this season out. So yeah, that's probably the case, really.
Cheers.
Thanks, Miguel. Could we please move to Isabel Barker of The Sun, please?
Hi, Scott. Thanks for your time. There's obviously kind of been a highlight on Mitrovic and his fitness, but I think as fans we were just as worried seeing Niskins-Kabano limping off. Just how important has he been recently, and kind of how pleased are you for him?
He's been fantastic. He's done very well, come out of lockdown. Niskins is not how quick football changes, and you often say, you paint them pictures that football does change very, very quickly, and it's changed very quickly for Niskins because large parts early on in the season wasn't really around it. There's cameo bits. Earned the right to be an important, not that he wasn't an important member, of course not, but to actually be out there and play football matches and score some important goals for us, really. So I'm really pleased for Niskins. He deserves this moment trains hard, trains really well, and he deserves his moment. So yeah, really pleased for him.
And Thomas Frank was speaking very highly of the respect his side have for you. You know, before he'd been very confident about how Brentford will likely be in the Premier League, and his tone has kind of changed in respect to Fulham. Do you think that's kind of testament to the brilliant football Fulham have played in their last few games?
Yeah, I think so. I think he recognises. Obviously, I've seen the lead up to Brentford and how the developments of what's happened, and he probably recognises a very good side. Again, what and understands that on our day we possess a real quality about us and a real intent about us. We've gone about our business very, very quietly. Gone about it under the radar as such, probably. But 81 points is the same as what Brentford are. We've won a lot of football matches this year, and I'm sure he recognises that. So yeah.
And just lastly, as you were kind of saying, I think some people don't notice how much of an achievement a playoff final is. Do you ever get time to kind of sit back and enjoy the view and see how much of an achievement it is for you and the club?
Not really, not at the moment. I don't, Isabella, really. I suppose it's just you're in a whirlwind. Everything just going at 100 miles an hour, and you take your eye off the ball for 1 second before you know it. Football has a habit of punching on the nose, and I suppose I've just had a razor focus, and all of us have really to a dying ambition to try and get this football club back in the Premier League. And it's been we've worked tirelessly throughout the year, a lot of challenges which everyone faces, and you've had to show a thick skin at times and a real resilience about us as a team, and me personally and my staff. And I suppose I think when it's all said and done after tomorrow, whatever the outcome, that you probably look back over the following days and probably then reflect and show what we have done is nothing short of a very good, really. So, but at this present moment in time, the focus is tomorrow night. The focus is what can we do to win this game? What can we do to what's been now 400 odd days since we've come back, to give ourselves every single opportunity to try and be successful and try and win a football match.
Thanks so much. Cheers. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabel. We've got a few more questions here from Written Press. Tony Banks, please.
Hi, Scott.
Tony.
Just wanted to go back to Mitro a little bit. He must be raring to go. I know how much he doesn't like missing games and missing those two semi-finals. I mean, obviously, if selected, he must be absolutely chomping at the bit to get back into action, mustn't he?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's missed a lot of football since lockdown finished, to be fair. He obviously had his suspension, and then he's had to come out the side through a slight injury. So yeah, I mean, look, he's probably in a bigger stage, and now all year, 26 goal, top goal scorer in the league. He's worked for this moment to be able to take the field and help us achieve what we want to achieve, really. So yeah, he's raring to go along with everyone else. Everyone else is in the same position, raring to go. Can't wait for tomorrow night and the occasion and what it brings. This is what you've worked for. This is what we've all worked for, is to this moment. So all looking forward to going there and trying to perform.
And the other thing I was going to say, the other night against Cardiff, was that a bit of kind of a warning, really, that warning shot? I know the performance was okay. The result wasn't what you wanted. I mean, you did the job. You said afterwards you did the job. But, you know, you let in 2 goals. Is that a bit of a warning to the chaps just to sort of keep on their feet? Can you use it like that?
Yeah, it could be. It could be that. Reflecting back on the game, when I look back, and at the time probably was the way I felt because it was in the moment, is that Cardiff put you constantly under pressure because the ball keeps coming into areas. And I've been saying that we dominated for large parts and a lot of shots. So yeah, of course you want to win football games. I think the end goal the other night was let's get through. Qualify was never going to be easy. Cardiff, for a team that had nothing to lose, was a free hit for them. They had nothing to lose, and we realised what was coming at us. Our team showed a resolve about us, stood up when we had to, and managed to do that. So, like a lot of games this year, and like a lot of moments, I think this game come tomorrow night is you can wipe away the history and what's happened over the last week or over the last months, really. We are where we are for a final. What that's going to bring is probably something totally different to what we've seen in the past.
Thanks, Scott. Good luck.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. If we can please go to Ben Fisher of The Guardian now.
Hi, Scott. You okay?
Hey, Ben. I'm good, thank you.
Can I just ask you, in terms of last summer in the sort of rebuild, obviously the fallout, how big a job was that? And two, in terms of the players that you did bring in, the club brought in, how big a factor was it that they had played in the Championship before and sort of knew the league and had a bit of experience in that regard?
Yeah, it was a massive challenge. No denying that. It was a mammoth challenge, really, because I realised that it was fragile. The squad was fragile. The football club was fragile. It was separate. Fans was distant from where the team were. Different ways. Obviously, a lot of signings in, and the dynamics of the whole place was hard. And I realised that as much as there was an element of having to try and put a stamp and an identity on this football team and a real clear philosophy and a clear understanding in terms of the game model, there was a much bigger issue. And something which was at the forefront of my mind was trying to bring a club back together a little bit and trying to create an environment and a culture which oozed that we would be successful. Because you often, all successful clubs and successful businesses, it comes from a core. It comes from a core foundation, and you find that everything runs in the right way and everyone's on the same page. And there's a real environment set and a culture set. There is no magic formula, and it takes time. Whether it's recruitment, whether it's the constant message, the hard work from that side of it, it was at the forefront of my mind, really. So, I realised that the challenge would be we also need to win football matches, because expectation would be that on paper it looks good, but I realised a long time ago that a team on paper doesn't always mean you're successful, and I think we've seen that certainly in this division. I think we've seen many teams that on paper have just fallen out of the Premier League all of a sudden go double bounce into the League One, or sitting 14th, 13th in this division and don't win many games. And 9 times out of 10, it is the reason I'm saying the culture, the environment is still the same one, which was what got relegated the year before. And the teams what not often do well when they bounce down or come down are the ones what have got some clear foundations. Foundations are built on concrete, and no matter what bump they hit, whether that be relegation out of the Premier League, they've got a core, and that core is something what they can hold on to, and it's a core that they revert back to, and it's that core what makes them stronger, and they make that grow, and obviously they can obviously keep producing during the down moments, really. So I realised that there were some big challenges we had to take, and trying to shift that mentality has been at the forefront of me and my staff's. And I think we've done that incredibly well. I still think there's vast improvement. Definitely, there's still areas what we need to improve on. And along the way this year, you can see that there's still them wounds which we need to make some thick scars and not reappear. But they do, because that's what happens. So the process is there, and the short-term success and the short-term what you want, of course, is winning football matches. And you're judged. I realise I'm judged that you need to win matches. You lose 2 in this current day and in this current environment, you're perceived as the worst, and you're perceived as failing. But I also realise long-term, a long-term goal and having long-term success. And if you want long-term success, which I do, and I want this football club to have long-term success, you need foundations. You need to have them. So trying to balance between getting results, but also a goal that is you get promoted and you get relegated the following year is not successful. You get promoted and you try and stay in the division. Well, I realised to do that, we need to have something to fall back on. You need to have a real ingredient about you, and that's what we tried to do.
And just in terms of the signings, people like Harrison Reed, I don't know, even sort of Michael Hector, people like that, was that something that you felt that you needed the ingredients to go with?
Yeah, for sure. Them players you've mentioned there are 2 players what have got vast experience, or I say vast experience. Harrison Reed's done incredibly well. I had 2 loans before he came here, someone I identified as a long while ago. Josh Onomer's come in, done fantastically well. A hungry boy who wants to improve and get better. Hector, that touch with some experience along the way in signings as well have helped us with the players we already have. Has been has worked very well, really. So that's been a real positive, and them players deserve full credit for that.
Just lastly, could I ask about the goalkeeper situation and how big a decision that was in terms of giving Marek his chance?
Big decision. Marcus Bettinelli is a top keeper, and obviously it was a big call and a big decision for me to bring Marek in. Young boy who's got experience at Rotherham, but in terms of here and coming into this environment and what was expected was very different. So it was a tough decision for me because, like I say, Bettinelli is a first-class keeper. He got his opportunity, Marek, and has not looked back, and has kept the shirt, and deservedly so. And he had someone pushing. He's got someone pushing from behind who we all know could fill that shirt and quite easily. So he's done very well as well.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Can we go to Matt Nash of the Metro, please?
Hello, Scott.
Hey, Matt.
Hi, mate. Just wondered about with the semi-final. Were you pleased at the way over the 2 legs the team managed to come through and score the goals without the 26 goals of Mitro in there? And did that show that how much resilience there is in the squad, really, that everyone could kind of chip in when you're missing such a big player?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've shown that at other points in the year when we've not had Mitro. But you're right, there was a massive challenge ahead of us. Obviously, losing 26 goals out of the team at that moment in time. Was obviously a big. So yeah, the resilience, the players had to stand up and come to the fore. Did that. So yeah, that was very pleasing.
Cheers, Scott. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Could we go to Jack Ross at Evening Standard, please?
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Jack.
In terms of the season as a whole, a lot of people, perhaps from outside the club, will define your season on what happens tomorrow night. For you, is it that black and white, considering what's on the line? Is it a success or a failure, dependent on tomorrow night's result?
It's not that. It's obviously I get that. But for me, I talk about myself here. I'll win the game tomorrow night, and I define it for myself like that. And I think it's like I said earlier. I understand where we are. I understand where we are in terms of the whole world, in the sense of sometimes people we lose sight of the bigger picture, or sometimes we lose sight of really sitting back before opening our mouths or really making judgment on things. We're probably more reluctant to sit back and go, okay, look, let's see where we are. We're all probably comfortable with that, really. But I also, like I said, I think after tomorrow night, when it's all said and done, dust ourselves down, whatever way it goes. I don't think I personally know that what we've done here in a short space of time is very special, and I see that every day. I've seen it from the start when we took over to where we are now, and how we're growing and how we're developing as a team, really. So of course I understand where you're coming from. That's happened all year. It will always happen as long as I'm a manager here or on my next journey, wherever that may be. In this position I'm in, I understand that that's the way it is. Like I said, two losses in the season, back in whenever it was the same then. It's not going to be any different now, and I understand that. The only way it's going to be different is we win and we go up to the Premier League, because that's how people see it. Because all of a sudden then you've been successful. You've won a big game at Wembley and you've got to the Premier League. That's defined as success. Now, of course it is. I understand that. But sometimes there's another there's a lot more what comes along the way, which maybe we don't see, and yeah, that's the way it is.
Just finally, there's been a lot of focus on Brentford's front three, but obviously in Mitro you've got the Championship top scorer. You've spoken that you want to focus on yourselves. Are you confident that attacking-wise you can outscore Brentford and beat them that way without having to think too much about sitting tight and stopping their front three, not concerning yourselves with them too much?
Yeah, of course, both really. I think we're prepared and we're planning for obviously the threats they bring, and of course we understand that. And then even more, we're planning for how we assert ourselves on this football match, and how we can go about our business to win the game. And of course, a team that have done remarkably well, front three will have been fluid in what they've done and scored a lot of goals. But also a team that sit on the same amount of points as us, 81 points, and are separated by goals. So yeah, I mean, I think we both, and I'm sure Thomas is sitting there as well, understanding that he knows the problems and what we can cause, like I know them. So it's got the dynamics and a good balance about it, the game.